All right, we do have one general appearance request. Kelvin Thompson. You'd state your name and residence address.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kelvin Thompson, Jr., 1403 Grant Avenue, Mount Dora, Florida. And I'd like to say I am a proud alum of the Mayor Cities Academy 2011. And just a little background for myself here. When I first came to this country in 1983, the Paramore area was one of the first areas that I came acquainted with, thanks to Pastor Glendy Hamilton, which I'm sure you all know. And I actually stayed with him for about a year. So the Paramore area has always had a nice soft spot in my heart for that. The thing that I'd like the city to consider is some form of rent control for the Paramore area. And the reason why I say that, because Paramore has a very misconception. A lot of people think that Paramore is a black-owned community, when in fact it is not. It's a black community, but the majority of people who live there are renters. Looking at the 2010 census report, it says that 87% of Paramore are renters. Those are not owners. And so when it comes to doing things in Paramore, renters don't have as big a say as property owners, which we're all aware of that. And I think this is one of the frustrations that a lot of people have when they go in the Paramore area trying to do something there, and they get all this resistance. And then the other misconception is that they think that these people have no pride in ownership, or that they don't want to better themselves. But I think the problem is more economical. When you stop and think about it, somebody who is getting, I look at the medium rent in Paramore that says $464. Somebody who's getting their rent for $464, I don't want to say that they're happy with that, but they're happy with the amount. Now, yes, the place may be a little rough, but if they're happy with the amount and then they have the kids that are bringing up, they figure this rent, housing, that's a low expense that they have, something less to worry about. When you think about it, they're not going to want to do anything that's going to cause their rent to go up. And so when you have people coming and want them to, say, beautify the area and stuff like that, they're renters. There's the risk that if they beautify where they're living, the rent is going to go up. So why would they shoot themselves in the foot? So I'm looking at this saying that, okay, to get around to that, if we do rent control, obviously the landlords, they're getting the rent now. They're not going to put anything into the property because they're not going to put it in if they can't increase the rent. The renters are not going to want the rent to go up. So right now there's a standoff whereby they're looking at each other and figure, well, the outsiders don't like it, they have all the stuff to say, but we're cool. Rent control, I figure, should take care of this problem. It'll give the renters the opportunity to know that they can beautify the surroundings, beautify the area, even get the little vegetable gardens going and everything like that, and they don't have to worry about the rent going up to whereby prices them out of the market. Everybody's afraid of this gentrification word, but it's economics. If I'm a property owner and I have somebody who's willing to pay me $1,200 to rent the property, and I have somebody in it who's paying $400, guess who's going to be leaving and who's going to be coming in? That's just pure economics. And I think we underestimate the intelligence of the Paramore community in thinking that they're going to want to do all these things to beautify the area, knowing that the rent is going to go up. Now, if you give them the incentive with rent control, then they don't have to worry about that. The landowners, they're going to be cool with that too, because when you think about it, the other properties who are not there for any length of time, who don't have rent control, they can charge a higher rent for those property. And I'm sure you all notice that a big landlord in the Paramore area is also the city. There's a lot of property there. Even the vacant property would still be an incentive, because you have like the down payment assistance. You use something like that to rent the vacant property. Rent control will not affect that. You get somebody built there, offer them down payment assistance. The rent can be market rate. The ones who are there have the rent control. They'll beautify the place, and works out for everyone. You know, in closing, let me say that I remember the story that my great-grandmother told me once about this young girl who her parents took her to midweek church service. And while she was there, this lady, she heard praying, saying, "Lord, please remove these cobwebs from my life that are, preventing me from moving forward." The next week goes back. Same lady's praying again, "Lord, please remove these cobwebs from my life that prevented me from moving forward and seeing clear vision." The third week, the little girl heard this old lady praying about, "Lord, remove the cobwebs from her eyes so she can see." And the lady says, "Lord, kill the spider." And sometimes we look at the problems and we don't realize the cause of the problems. And I think in the Paramore area, this is one of those instances whereby if we take care of rent control, everything else will fall into place. The part for Palmos, they have that was started in 2005, and I see here this as one of the things they have for housing, quality of life, and students. But the main thing, the first thing I had there was housing. And I figure if we can address the housing issue, everything else will fall into place behind that. Thank you for your time, and a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for your passion, Kelvin. Interesting, but Florida state law prohibits rent control in the state of Florida.
Even for the city?
It's in the
Yes,
state.
state law prohibits city or county from enacting rent control.
Well, then I guess I'll have to go to Tallahassee and work on this, huh?
Before you come back here, yes, you have to go there.
Thank you.
Okay, we're adjourned.